Let me now go across to our two guests joining us on the show. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Rajya Sabha MP and spokesperson of the Shiva Sena, as well as Ashutosh Srivastava, advocate of the Supreme Court. Priyanka Chaturvedi, coming first to you. You just heard Prahlad Joshi. I hope you were able to hear him. And he said that there is nothing wrong in the release of the convicts because they had served their sentence for about 14 years. How do you see this defense coming in from the government, and especially the timing, because these men had walked free on the 15th of August, India's Independence Day?
It angers me, it outrages me, and it also deeply saddens me. Not just as a political person, but someone who is a woman, who knows how difficult the fight would have been for Bilkis Bano, not just being raped and tortured the way she was, but also seeing her own 3-year-old child killed right in front of her eyes. And for the Union Minister to come forward and defend this decision just shames me, to say the least. It's a mild word to say, shameful, shameless defense, to say the least. What has happened is very clear that whether it is the special CBI judge, whether it is the Sessions Court, everybody was against this particular remission. It came at the back of the Prime Minister using the Red Fort to say, stood on a pulpit and said women should be treated as equals, they should be respected. On that very day, all her convicts are rape convicts. They cannot be called accused, they were convicts, that they have been let go. Now the truth has come out that it was the Home Ministry, despite the advice of various people who had heard this case, who sat through this case, right from the judge to the CBI, have categorically said that this should not happen, they should not be allowed to go, and they should not be shown any leniency. Yet the Home Ministry chose to let them go and also gave them a good character certificate. What does this even mean? And they are celebrated once they're released. And today you have a defense minister, you have a union minister coming and defending this. I don't have words to express my outrage, and all I can say, and I think every single Indian owes an apology to Bilkis Bano today.
Ashutosh Srivastava, while the Union Home Minister may cite that this was done as per law, but laws are made for the society. Laws are made for the people of the country. They don't work in isolation, that just because there's a law, you apply that. Do you think that this argument fits in over here?
Supreme Court itself has made this law while making the policy in July 1992. That is much before the arrest of these accused people. Now the issue is that when the Supreme Court itself has decided and made the policy that if 14 years are completed in any life imprisonment, then in that case, subject to the compliance of Section 435 of the Criminal Procedure Code, the state government may write it to the central government, and after the approval, the accused may be released based on the behavior, health, and family and other issues. So the rule of law
that
has
is
to be
exactly
applied.
what I asked you, that there are laws. I understand that the government is saying that this was done as per law, but laws don't work in isolation, right? They have to evolve with time. And case by case basis, we are talking about a very grave crime here.
See, all these things have been already heard today also before the Supreme Court. The PILs have already been filed against the release of these accused. And now the Supreme Court has also, approved the release of these prisoners, these accused. So obviously the rule of law has already been applied. See, a person who has committed a crime must be punished. But as per the law, there cannot be emotional, the emotions attached with the punishment of a person or the release of a person. If somebody has committed a crime, the law will apply. The person will be behind the bar.
All right, Priyanka Chaturvedi wants to make a point. Let her come in. Priyanka, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Every word I hear from him agitates me. So firstly, I must say this: Supreme Court had asked the state government as well as those who were hearing the case to offer their opinion before taking this call. And let me remind Mr. Srivastava that the special judge, a CBI judge, as well as the Sessions Court, in March itself had said that there can be no leniency shown towards these people. Please, I'm sorry, do not keep shaking your head right now. Please allow me to complete. You've also had even the CBI, senior inspector say this, that they should not be let go. It is It is the Gujarat government along with the Home Ministry which has taken this call. And let me remind him that there are guidelines. There are guidelines which categorically state that leniency cannot be applied even if they did the lifetime imprisonment. They have a lifetime imprisonment and they've shown good behavior and they've been behind bars for 14 years. Cannot be applied in cases of heinous crimes. This is a heinous crime. This is an act against humanity. What are we even defending here? I mean, please, just do not say, we cannot look at it from an emotional perspective. You're mentally damaging a lot of women who fight these cases, who find it a struggle to take these accused towards conviction. And someone who has fought that battle to be told, listen, do not get emotional here. You continue to live in fear all your life, but we will release them because we've decided that they have behaved themselves in these 14 years. Shamelessness to the court. Do not come and defend this.
Ashutosh Srivastav, also a crime, just a second, Ashutosh, a crime and of this nature is not just committed against one single person. The state views a crime as a crime against the entire state as well. In that sense, what message has been sent to the society? That the question that Priyanka Chaturvedi is putting out there, a special judge called this, just hear me out, a special judge called this the worst form of hate crime committed only on the ground that the victim belongs to a particular religion. In this case, even minor children were not spared. So this is not just a case of rape. This is a case of killing her entire family. This is a case of a hate crime, as is being said by a special judge. No other than the judiciary itself saying it. Shouldn't then it be viewed from a different prism and not purely laws that have been set, and especially when the CBI also had an objection to their release?
See, I would like to say that if Ms. Chaturvedi was not happy with this 1992 policy which was framed by the Supreme Court, being the parliamentarian, why didn't these people go and challenge that kind of a policy? Why they are making the hue and cry now? See, the laws are there. The law has to be applied. They cannot say that, every time this further communalism or religion or things like that should not come into picture. See, the laws are very, very clear and the law has been applied. So far as the judges are concerned, they may have their different opinions. Why the Supreme Court is not convinced? Why the judges of the Supreme Court is not convinced with the opinion of the Sessions Court? Why it is happening? So everything has already been done. All the rules of law have been applied. The procedure have been followed. And only after that, the policy which was framed in 1992 has been applied accordingly. And if the behavior of these people are not good, which might be in contrary to the 1992 policy, the same could have been brought before the Supreme Court. See, nobody is above the court. When the Supreme Court has already clarified in 1992 while making the policy, and today also when these PILs were filed before the Supreme Court, and after hearing both the parties, the notice was also served to the state government, to the central government, and after thorough hearing, after going into the minute details of the entire issue, then this matter has been decided.
Okay. So Priyanka wants to respond to the question you raised. She wants to respond to the question you raised.
I'm sorry. There is no question here. There is no question here. It just shows a very inhuman side of the law where someone goes on quoting 1992 and why didn't you make a UN cry then? Why didn't you make a UN cry now? I am sorry to say, in 92, there are guidelines. There are guidelines offered by Ministry of Home Affairs that this particular, remissions will not be considered for those who have involved and indulged in acts of something which is as heinous as this act against humanity. It states very clearly, yes, you can continue to argue that's just a guideline. Again, the Supreme Court, when this hearing came up in front of the Supreme Court, they said they should go back to the state government, wherever the jurisdiction lies. But we must understand this particular case was heard in the courts of law in Mumbai, because there was fear by the CBI, which said that there wouldn't be a free and fair investigation in Gujarat. They have been heard. The ones who were hearing this particular case were sitting in Mumbai. All of them have raised an objection for their release. Yet the Gujarat government and the Home Ministry continues to deny that, overlook that, and facilitate this entire exit of these criminals. It's shameful to say the least. For him to keep harping on 1992 is just shamelessness. I would say, even if it's a remission has to happen where the jurisdiction of it. Jurisdiction was in the court of law in Mumbai under a special court led by the CBI judge. So I'm sorry, this doesn't hold good. And so I'm hoping that Supreme Court will ensure that justice is done to Bilkis Bano and these convicts go back to jail where they need to be and where every single Indian woman would want them to be.
Application of mind, application of law, changes in law are also brought about when there is a need or a demand in the society for that. There are inflection points. We have seen it in the Nirbhaya case as well. So why not now? Many thanks to both Priyanka Chaturvedi as well as Ashutosh for joining us here on the show.